Hello, this is Amelia, your intuitive empath, energy healer, nutritionist, pet healer, spiritual guide. Well, all the things. Anyway, today we are doing another story segments video, and this one's kind of big for me and my personal experiences. And, I've got this long list here going, but the narcissist, through projection and coercing others or manipulating them or creating a fake story, a sob story, or anything, they will use, oh, don't forget this one, um, people in authority positions to gather them up, as many as they can, to just create their false reality and use them against you. So let me give you a few examples of what I mean. So I remember we went to a new school with my kids. I met with the new teacher and she was great, very polite. And then X and his new wife went to meet with him afterwards. After that point, the teacher would no longer look at me in the eyes. I wonder why. There's many other situations like that. Or when we were going through a CFI, which is a family investigation to see about parenting time and things like that, he would use all of his friends to write references about me that weren't even true. These people didn't even know me, but it was creating a narrative because they all said kind of the same thing. Um, and it was all false. The biggest way they do this is court. It's one of the most toxic places that they can gather um, the authority figures to make themselves look really, really, really good when it's usually the exact opposite of what they're presenting. So they'll use lawyers, they will use the CFI report, they'll use counselors, they will use doctors, teachers, CPS, you name it. Oh yeah, pastors. I've heard stories of that. This person I knew went in for help. Like, I need to get out of this domestic violence situation. Pastor, can you please help me? Then they meet privately with her narcissistic abuser. Suddenly it's like, I think you guys can work on this. You need to stay and blah, 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 blah. No, no, just no. So ways they do this, it's usually in private. They will coerce and manipulate the person to believing their sob story or their fake story or whatever it is. But there's always holes in it too. Um, I was trying to protect my kids with their food sensitivities when they were younger. And so at a doctor's visit, he's like, can I speak to the doctor in private, please? And well, it helped that the doctor was pretty narcissistic too. But then the whole energy about that situation changed. So knowing who you can trust when you're going through a high conflict situation is really, really difficult because sometimes these people can switch on a dime because they feel sorry for the poor, sad victim narcissist who, I'm being cynical and what's the word? I can't think of it. Um, they feel bad for them. So you must be the problem, actually, not the narcissist. Who else? Let's see. Oh, and I remember very clearly, and I don't know if I've used this example before in other videos, but it's just perfect. And the only thing the narcissist really had to gain was potential good favor of our marriage counselor. I had been done a long time, and this is one of the last sessions I attended, and we were going into a counseling session to work out a specific detail. My dog's barking. Hey, no, I don't know what he hears. Um, maybe because I'm doing this, it's just pulling in the wrong kinds of energy. Cancel, clear, all of that. And so we went into this thinking we had this agenda, and that's what I thought. We had this agenda, we need to work out this specific issue I feel like it was holidays or something. I don't remember what it was. But then he came in with his own ulterior motive and made the entire session about that. And I was like, wait a minute. I was kind of stunned by it because I was still trying to process and understand and work through all of these things and what the truth really was. And then at the end, we walk outside and he's like, oh man, that was really rough for you. Are you okay? And then it hit me. I was like, oh, what you just said, first of all, was not even real compassion. Not at all. You created the whole situation and to set yourself up to potentially look good for myself. I don't know who. Um, and it wasn't even rough for me. So what is this delusion that was created in this situation? So those are the ways that they try to grab on to as many people to make it you versus the rest of the world. If the rest of the world believes this narrative, this false reality, this delusional world that the narcissist has created, then you must be the problem. When in actuality, you are not crazy. You are not the problem. And it's time to separate yourself further from that narcissist. So there's some techniques you can do to really create a better way to, if you have to communicate. I mean, first of all, no communication, no engagement, no feeding the narcissist anything. Like, that's not true. And I can't believe you would say that. And, that emotional part of you wants to rise up and fight for the truth. Trust me, I know. But there's some better ways to kind of siphon your own energy, especially as an empath, because they'll just keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. So disengaging is the most effective way to do that. But if you can't do that, there's ways to react to the situation without it looking like a reaction. So that's one way you can do that. And there's a phrase called counter manipulation, and it's horrible that I've even had to learn how to do that, but it is what it is. So look that one up. I'm not going to put it out there right now. And keeping everything written down. Do not verbally speak to the narcissist, especially once they've tried to create this massive smear campaign about you. Documentation in written form through, if you're in a legal battle, do something like talking parents or something else that's recognized by the legal system for you. Emails, anything with a timestamp and date and everything. Really important if you're fighting. But if you're not, how much do you actually need to respond? Number one, or do you need to respond at all? Start with those two questions and then move from there. Keep it simple. Try not to feed into their emotional game, and keep it black and white to the point. And anything big emotionally, as the empath feels, try to put that somewhere else. Like, let it go another place. Don't hold on to it. Don't internalize it. Still let it go. If you need to journal about it, burn it. One really effective way to do it is to type out an email or write it in your journal, rip that page out or just whatever and burn it, flush it down the toilet so that you've processed it. Then write the deliverable message to that person. So, another thing is this can happen in businesses too. This is not just relationships. There can be a narcissistic boss or owner of a company that you work for. I knew somebody who went through that situation that was the same thing. So, they will gaslight you and manipulate you and create false realities till the cows come home if you allow them. And they will continue to trample you and make you the scapegoat if you are that person. And especially those who are empathic and highly sensitive, we tend to be that target because we do tend to think the best of people. I'm not saying this is a blanket statement for everybody, but if this is you at a business, I highly advise switching departments, finding a new job, or finding ways to cope with it if you're unable to do those things. And so if you need support with that, of course, let me know. I'm here to help. I have my throat chakra was pretty closed when I was going through this process, and it's opened up tremendously because I can just come back and go, do I even need to respond to any of that? Nope. Okay, moving on. Because they want to keep you entangled in the system and they want to keep you pulled in. So, currently it's like using the medical system all the time to create a potential slip up for my kids. So I'm not engaging. I'm doing what I can to protect my kids on my end, and the rest, there's a lot of surrendering that has to happen. And some things I can say no to. But the more I want to come back and say, would you stop abusing the medical system, please? It does no good if I say that. It doesn't do any good. Um, so, but again, use your intuition, use your guidance, ask for spiritual support to help to know when to engage. What's important if you're not sure, because if you're still in fight or flight, then it's going to be hard to figure out. So, this could be for, an ex relationship too. If somebody's trying to keep harassing you and keep pulling you back in, it really, anybody who is creating this situation for you, disengage, do not engage, and just let it go. Block all the things. Because they're very convincing, very, very convincing, to whomever they need to be. But most people, once they dig through the muck, they will see the truth. It's harder with someone you don't know as well, like a doctor or things like that, unless you're at the doctor all the time. So, okay, I think I've beat that one to the end of it. But if there's any questions about that, because it can be very, very confusing, just comment below. If you need any support or just would like to find other like-minded empaths, join below, and have a beautiful, beautiful moment in time.